Raising a child is expensive, and where's the incentive for mums to return to work when childcare costs up to $200 a day? Even with subsidies, some parents say it's just not worth it.
It's just quite gut-wrenching because it just feels like it's almost robbery.
It's Australia's great childcare sting. Families drowning in fees and mothers questioning whether it's even worth working.
I wouldn't be able to afford to be back at work.
They're almost handicapped. So, you know, there's women that aspire to want to go back to work, that desperately want to go back to work but simply can't afford to.
Adele Barbaro was faced with a life-changing dilemma when her job went from part-time to full-time.
You made the decision to stop working. Why was that?
So last year I was working 4 days a week and my children were going to daycare 4 days a week as well. And after the childcare rebates, we were out of pocket $35,000 a year. We actually worked out that going to work full-time and putting the children in full-time made absolutely no sense whatsoever.
According to John Daly from public think tank the Grattan Institute, there's a perfect storm punishing women. If they work 4 or 5 days instead of 3, childcare income tax and the withdrawal of benefits whittle away their take-home pay.
The big hurdle is, how much do I get to take home out of my pay if I work an extra day? And the problem is that for a lot of women in Australia, the answer is they take home very little and sometimes nothing.
The figures are astounding. The Institute found a woman can lose up to 90% of the extra wage she earns when she works harder, when she works more days. It's no wonder women are saying, what's the point?
A couple with a combined income of $157,000 with 2 kids in childcare would be just $5,500 better off if the woman works 5 days instead of 2. Before having kids, Belinda, Hannah and Esther were working full-time in jobs they loved.
Well, yes, I studied for quite a long time to be where I am, and I felt that if I was to take too much time off from the workforce, that would be a negative impact on my career progression.
Keen to keep their careers, they've embraced part-time working hours.
You want to set a good example for your children that you do work, but you also want to be there to watch them grow and nurture them.
As a mum, I feel like I'm contributing to the next generation too. I just want both roles to be seen as both equally important.
The Institute found having women work an extra day each week is one of the biggest things the government could do to increase the economy.
I think it's one of those areas where if governments were more often run by women who had children, then they would probably be a lot more responsive to this issue.
After subsidies, families paid on average $74.30 a week for childcare in 2011, $100.50 in 2014 and $110.50 in 2017.
What's not happening is a regulation in the cost of childcare. So I'm seeing that a lot of the privatised childcare centres are hiking up their daily fees in line with the subsidies. I see the publicly listed reporting millions and millions of dollars in profits every single year, but I find it's at the expense of hardworking Aussie families.
Labor's promising, if elected, every working family earning up to $174,000 a year will get cheaper childcare. Shadow Education Minister Amanda Rishworth.
We are going to give better subsidies than the government. That means, on average, people will be $1,200 per child better off. But importantly, for those families in the lower income brackets of a combined income of $69,000 or below, they're effectively going to be getting free childcare.
Education Minister Simon Birmingham says the Liberal Party has already created a great childcare system and they're committing $75 million to a skills program to help women get back into the workforce.
It's critical to have an eagle eye in terms of childcare providers to make sure there's no rorting, to ensure that every taxpayer dollar goes right to where it's needed, which is helping families out.
I mean, Australian dream is not easy to acquire these days. Both parents have to work to pay for all the bills and the mortgage.
Irene Becker isn't holding her breath for things to get easier. This mum and her partner both work full-time. They couldn't afford to do so without the help of their parents.
If you can get hold of your parents and get their support, grab them with both hands and don't let go.
But not all families have grandparents rushing to the rescue.
It's not the same as it used to be, where the woman stayed at home and they had a lot of family support and a big family network to be able to support them.
It's a juggling act, definitely.
Well, we're running a Facebook poll to see if you think going back to work after having a child is worth it for new mothers. An overwhelming 78% of you say it's not. Just 22% say it is. There's still time to have your say, and if you want to compare childcare fees, you'll find a link on our homepage.